She waited for apology, till life ended without one. Aisha was a woman who was known for her big heart and infectious laughter. Those who knew her would always mention how she had a way of lighting up any room with her presence. But beneath this cheerful exterior, Aisha harbored a deep wound that threatened to consume her from within. It all started when her sister Fatima passed away unexpectedly. They were incredibly close, sharing secrets, dreams, and a bond that only sisters could understand. When Fatima died, Aisha felt like a part of her own soul had been ripped away. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and still, the pain of losing her sister refused to fade for Aisha. Then came the one-year anniversary of Fatima's death. As the day approached, Aisha found herself consumed by an all-consuming need for answers. For someone to hold accountable, for an apology. She wanted to confront the person she held responsible for her sister's death and demand an apology. 1 year had passed since her sister's passing, yet the wound in Aisha's heart seemed as fresh and painful as the day it happened. She couldn't shake off the feeling that something wasn't right, that justice hadn't been served. This wasn't just about seeking retribution or revenge, but about finding a way to move forward, to honor her sister's memory, and to find peace within herself. Now, before we continue with the story, I want you to take some time to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so that you will be notified whenever we upload a new story. Let's get started. It was during this difficult time that Aisha reconnected with an old friend, Hakim, who had been there for her during the toughest moments of her life. Hakim was a beacon of light in Aisha's dark days, offering unwavering support and understanding. He listened patiently to Aisha's story, acknowledging her pain and the depth of her despair. Understanding the gravity of the situation, Hakim decided to help Aisha seek justice for her sister. Together, they delved into the details surrounding Fatima's death, uncovering every aspect of the incident. Aisha shared her suspicions, her fears, and the unanswered questions that haunted her. Hakim, being the wise and compassionate friend that he was, didn't dismiss her feelings. Instead, he encouraged her to explore these thoughts, to give voice to the emotions that had been bottled up for so long. Through their discussions, Aisha began to piece together the fragments of her shattered past. She started to see the bigger picture, realizing that it wasn't just about seeking an apology, but also about confronting her own inner demons and healing the wounds that had festered within her soul. With Hakim's support, Aisha decided to take action. She wouldn't let her sister's memory fade away. In the depths of her despair, Aisha stumbled upon an old photograph, a visual relic from a happier time. It was a picture of her and her sister Fatima, their smiles as bright as the sun, their eyes sparkling with life. As she gazed at the image, a surge of determination coursed through her veins. This picture became her guiding star, reminding her of the love, joy, and light that Fatima had brought into her life. Fueled by this newfound resolve, Aisha reached out to other family members and friends, those who had also been impacted by Fatima's untimely demise. Together, they formed a united front, a testament to the enduring power of sisterly bonds and the strength that comes from seeking justice in the face of adversity. Each person brought their unique perspective and support, weaving together a tapestry of love, remembrance, and solidarity. Their shared grief became a catalyst, propelling them forward on their journey to uncover the truth and honor Fatima's memory. As they delved deeper into the investigation, each piece of information brought them closer to the heart of the matter. With each passing day, the group uncovered more details about the circumstances surrounding Fatima's death. They revisited the crime scene, interviewed witnesses, and scoured through evidence, determined to leave no stone unturned. The relentless pursuit of justice began to take its toll on Aisha. The emotional strain was immense, dredging up buried memories and forcing her to confront the harsh realities of her sister's final moments. Despite the pain, Aisha pressed on, driven by an insatiable need for closure. Her determination was unwavering, her spirit unbroken. Yet as the investigation deepened, a sense of unease settled over Aisha. She couldn't shake off the feeling that she was treading on dangerous ground. The closer she got to the truth, the more she realized the complexity of the case and the potential consequences of what she might uncover. Fear began to grip her heart, threatening to extinguish the flame of justice that burned so brightly within her. But Aisha refused to let fear define her journey. With each step forward, she grew more resolute, her determination fueled by the unwavering support of her family and friends. They stood by her side, offering words of encouragement and solidarity, reminding her that she wasn't alone in this battle. Together, they faced the darkness, refusing to let fear dictate their actions. Finally, after months of tireless effort and unwavering determination, Aisha and her group of supporters gathered all the evidence they needed to confront the person responsible for Fatima's death. They had pieced together a compelling narrative, leaving no room for doubt or denial. With trembling hands and hearts filled with both trepidation and resolve, they confronted the person who had caused such devastation in their lives. They demanded an apology, not out of vengeance, but as a necessary first step towards healing. However, what they encountered was not the remorseful response they had hoped for. The person they confronted remained unmoved, their heart hardened by guilt and indifference. They refused to apologize, leaving Aisha and her loved ones in a state of profound shock and disbelief. In that moment, Aisha realized that the apology she had sought so desperately might never come. The weight of this realization crushed her, threatening to engulf her in despair. The journey, which had begun with so much hope and determination, now seemed to have reached a dead end. Just when Aisha's spirit was about to break, Hakim, her steadfast friend, stepped forward. His voice resonated with wisdom and compassion as he spoke words that cut through the haze of despair that enveloped Aisha. He reminded her that the apology they had sought was not to validate their pain, but to free them from the burden of anger and resentment. He gently suggested that true liberation lay in forgiveness, not in the other person's remorse. Hakim's words struck a chord deep within Aisha's soul, awakening her to the truth. She understood that she had been holding on to the apology, not for the sake of the other person, but for herself. It was a way for her to cope with the unbearable loss and the gaping hole in her heart. With newfound clarity, Aisha made a decision that would change everything. She chose to forgive. It wasn't a simple, easy choice. It was a conscious act of the will, a deliberate choice to let go of the anger and bitterness that had been consuming her. As she extended her hand in forgiveness, a sense of calm washed over her, a tranquility that had eluded her for so long. The weight that had been pressing down on her chest seemed to lift, replaced by a lightness that brought tears to her eyes. Forgiveness, she realized, wasn't about condoning or forgetting what had happened. It was about setting her spirit free. It allowed her to honor her sister's memory without the burden of resentment. In that moment of forgiveness, Aisha experienced a profound sense of liberation. It wasn't the apology she had initially sought, but it was a far greater gift. It was the gift of inner peace. With the chains of anger and resentment broken, Aisha could finally begin the process of healing. She knew that the road ahead would be long and arduous, but she was no longer walking it alone. She had the support of her family and friends, the love of her community, and most importantly, the peace that resided within her own heart. And that is the story of Aisha, the woman who waited for an apology, but found a greater gift in forgiveness. We hope you enjoyed this emotional tale of loss, forgiveness, and the strength of the human spirit. Please remember to subscribe if you haven't already so you won't miss any of our future stories. Till next time, keep nurturing your spirit and prioritizing your mental well-being. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you soon with another captivating story.